or not every puller's used to Larry or different things like that. Is Tekken any different, or how did it all go?
The only ones that weren't used to Larry were the ones from New York and the ones from California. And the guys from California over the telephone pretty well got used to Larry before they did. But the deal with the Theobalds is Keith Theobald, the main guy that started some of this for that family. I mean, I met him in 1981 in Plainville, Indiana, underneath a shade tree. And Doug and his brother were, I don't know, 9-10 years old, if that. And of course, Renee is sister to my son-in-law. So there's a deep history there as far as me and the Theobald family. But no, I've enjoyed watching them grow up and have children and be prosperous and doing what they're doing. And I mean, you talk about families and you talk about Simon boys, continue what their dad did. Well, this is another case, the same thing. Third generation's winning too, but I can't have any favorites, and I don't. But when I have a family connection like that from years and years of being around them, I have to admit I smile a little bit extra. But no, they're tough competitors, top shelf operation. I mean, they still got two-wheel drive, but Mason drives, and of course, Doug drives the mod. And I mean, it's just a family deal, and it's awesome. I Renee's a hell of a driver, drove two-wheel drive for years, and Grant's showing he is too. So it's an awesome event when they both do well. And how do you do better than one of them win one night, one of them win the other?
So Larry, how do we do this? I have him in backstage. Give me the awesome Larry Richwine introduction, then I'll bring him on the screen.
Well, I'd say it'd be, ladies and gentlemen, it's really great to present to you the winner of Friday night and Saturday night that share the same last name. Mom and son, Renee and Grant. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Did I do okay?
You did perfect.
I mean, for Larry, for what I pay you, it's worth it. You know what I'm saying?
It's what.
Just a quick note, folks. I get zero. This microphone and this camera was a Christmas gift as long as I used it on Let's Grow Pulling.
Have you brought the lawn chair in from the mailbox? I take it we're not sitting out there waiting on the checks in the mail.
I waited out there in a lawn chair for many, many weeks until I received it. Yes. Enough of that. Let's talk about Wicked Pulling and all their efforts and all their successes.
Michael, take over, my man.
Yeah, what's going on? So Renee and Grant, first of all, holy moly, congratulations on a very, very successful weekend. And as a fan, as an announcer, I am really tickled that I picked up my phone and looked down at it. I was in the middle. I don't remember what I was doing. I was turkey hunting or shed hunting. I was doing something stupid out in the woods, and middle of afternoon, and I get a text from Renee, and she's like, hey, just throwing this out there. We've got a free weekend anyway that me and my son can come down and go mini rod pulling. We just bring the minis, won't take up much room. Just seems like something fun to do. And I was like, well, I'm really glad you asked because you guys are awesome. I'm not the one to ask, but I will ask the ones that do. And I called Jason, and Jason was golfing. And so it was just one of those days. And then I get back online a few days later, and I see right there, Wicked Pulling is attending the Pullers Championship. So I love it when things come together from you're just thinking we're going to come play. And did you have it in your mind you'd be walking away with 2 first place and an overall weekend championship when you were just kind of looking to have some fun on a weekend in May?
Well, winning is always in the back of your head, but no, honestly, Grant and I just wanted to come and get an A to B pass under our belt before our first points event in Benson, North Carolina here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's coming up quick. I'll tell you this. So there's a lot of big stories from Nashville, Illinois. The Puller Championship itself, just with the Friday night crowd looking like a Saturday night crowd, the Saturday night crowd looking like a huge crowd. Jason called it, kind of our coming out party. The Simons, who won everything, plus the ACMs, plus the kitchen sink, plus MVP in the NBA Finals. I don't know. I think we ran out of awards to give the Simons by the time it was over. I got back to the hotel at 2:00 in the morning. My dad was waiting up for me. He goes, there is one thing that everyone's going to remember from this weekend. And there's a laundry list. He goes, there's one thing. And he says, that is going to be Renee's pass on Saturday night, winning a stacked mini rod class by 20 feet. You didn't just figure something out from the truck show and from Friday night. Whatever gremlins were pulling you left, man, you straighten that thing out. It's one thing to beat Jeff Hurt and Tyler Slaw and Jeremy and Jared Nelson, and the list goes on by 5 feet, but what, 340, 348, 343? Yeah, 348. That was a pass. I want to hear from backing into the sled to taking that out. Walk us through that whole process, or even what you had to fix from Friday to get you there.
Well, yeah, it pulled me really hard left and it one-wheeled, and had 2 shots at it, actually, and I was test hook and came back and did the same thing. We kind of looked at some data, and I adapted my driving for Saturday night, and that worked out a little bit better. And actually on that pass, I had to hit the brake 3 times, but I hit it early enough that I was still able to have my momentum and speed that got me out there. We had a little fuel leak. We don't know where that's coming from yet, but we don't know. I don't know if that helped me a little bit or not, but at least the motor was fine. That's why I clicked it off really fast at the end. But yeah, it was an awesome run. I think it was the longest pass of the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was one of those up there in the announcer's booth, it was air conditioning. It was enclosed. It was like announcing from a suite. But we had a window and you up there disappeared. We couldn't. It was one of those. We had to crank open the window and look and say, "Where'd Renee go?" And it was one of those. You almost know it's going to be a sled reset, other than the fact that you look at who had already hooked before you and what they had done. So you know that was every bit earned. That one brought the crowd to their feet. That's one that people are going to be talking about for the next couple of pulls. So I think all of Nashville, Illinois enjoyed watching that, and you see it run in the background. You say you got on the brake, but man, that thing looks tried and true.
Thank you. It felt like a really good run, and we're just stoked with the weekend in general. I mean, Grant did awesome on both nights. I knew I really wasn't going to hurt him on Saturday night anyway, so with not doing so hot on Friday. So
Grant was kind of you both had the wins, and you kind of went about it in different ways. You kind of went from an 8th place finish on Friday to a 1st place monster pass on Saturday. Grant just kind of quietly 1st place on Friday. Perfect job. Parks at top 3, bada bing, bada boom. He's holding the big check down there, getting his picture taken. Grant, I mean, I don't know how you can quietly get 1st and 3rd, but it seems like you just did everything right. Tell us about your weekend and tell us how it feels to be the overall winner, which is a really neat thing that they do at the Pullers Championship too. Kind of one of those like the Bowling Green Ring or like the Thunderbolt in Wisner, Nebraska that we give out. Those combined finishes are cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome to be able to come in there for the first time pulling there at the Pullers Championship and come away with a weekend championship. Friday night track's pretty tricky. It was biting really hard off the starting line, so everybody else is kind of getting out of control. So I was really just trying to go A to B, so I drove it out a little bit farther than I usually do, and it ended up working. And then Saturday night, I knew I was in good position to be able to get the overall championship. So my plan was just try to get down the track, make solid pass, not really go hero or zero.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing in a golf scramble. You already had a monster drive out in the fairway. All you have to do on that next one is just have a true shot, and you're gonna be right there in it. So yeah, that was exciting. What was the overall experience? This is something that we really are trying to create as a destination pull, an invitation fan vote. Give us your feedback of the Pullers Championship and just kind of the vibe and what it meant to you to be pulling there.
For me, I thought it felt like a big time event. It was pretty awesome to be able to win there. So when you do that well in an event, it's kind of hard to have anything bad to say about it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great run event.
Well said, Grant. That's the most honest thing I've heard all day, buddy. It won, but I think it sucked.
Yeah, that's one of those darned if you do. It's like kind of a silly question to ask. Like, what do you want me to say, Mike? That it was average and boring? Like, we're on your guys' show. Of course it's amazing.
Yeah, no, it really was amazing. I mean, we were treated amazing from the time we walked in the gate and pulled into the gate, and from the time we went to bed at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday night. So
Yeah, Grant.
it was all around a really good time.
Grant, I was supposed to ask you how you were feeling Sunday. I had some people hanging out with you kind of late, and they said you were having fun. So
I had a good time.
okay, good. Well said. Well said. Hey,
Good
Renee, quick
answer,
question
Grant.
for you. The tracks were two different tracks Friday night. Now, I saw a bunch of comments on Facebook. I love reading Facebook comments, and that track was shit on Friday night. I'm gonna tell you guys one thing. We opened that track up the weekend before, and there was a 25% of rain every single day that entire week. So we left it covered the entire week until Friday morning. So then that's when we opened up and started working it. We do know it was soft at the beginning, a little bit like that, but it's just like obviously we wanted it to be better, but we did the best we could. Everybody's got to pull on the same track. Renee, what was the driving style? And Grant, you too, like what was the difference between Friday night and Saturday night? We did keep you guys on the same track both nights. A lot of the other classes switched, but we wanted the minis to have a really good, you guys put on a great show. Everybody loves mini rods. It's exciting. You never know what's going to happen. But what was the difference between the two tracks, Renee, between Friday and Saturday?
Definitely Friday was a lot softer, and I drove it harder on Friday night, and that was not the thing to do. So I basically had to wait like 50% longer with my throttle on Saturday, and just kind of gain momentum and speed a little bit more that way without having the tires grow. And that just seemed to work pretty good. And Grant was very consistent both nights.
Yeah, he was able to really tame the beast, if you will, both nights because they were two different tracks. Because we did move the starting line up to 10 feet or 15 feet Saturday night as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
When we get back there a little farther like that, it actually got staked out wrong, and we wanted the sleds to be up a little bit farther because it was almost a little bit of a uphill run coming out of the hole on Friday night, but we did correct that on Saturday night. So
okay, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep. Nope. Just we're giving you the tidbits now. So it's all
the insider scoop. So
it all worked out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't build tracks, and I just work on my job is to promote and get as many people there as I can and talk to sponsors and stuff like that. That's my contribution to this great event. Brent and Paul and Carrie and Brad do everything else. Clint Tucker's in charge of building our track, and he always builds good tracks. We got good people there. Question for you from Chandler Pickler, Renee. Renee, what made you switch from two-wheel drive to mini rod?
I always wanted to try driving, be in the mini rod class, and then Grant actually showed interest in wanting a mini rod. So it was a easier way to nudge Doug to be like, hey, let's get a mini rod. And so then Grant had one for the first year in 22, and he actually was not able to go to a couple of pulls because of school at Purdue University. So I was able to drive his 4 different times and got a win under my belt. So that was pretty much an automatic, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. So that was nice that I kind of got to tiptoe into the mini rod class to just make sure that, am I going to like this or not? And it was a definite, yeah, let's go ahead and build me a mini rod. And we knew Mason was coming up and going to want to drive something. So he kind of got, per se, stuck with the two-wheel drive truck, but I'm sure he'll be in a mini ride here in a couple years for sure.
But I've heard that he might be a little bit of a black sheep. I've heard that he kind of has his heart set on something quite a bit different. I saw him and I was busy running around, and I asked him, I said, hey, Mason, have you built your pro stock yet? So I want to hear about, the pro. What are we going to build the boy a pro stock? Are we going to get into black smoke and tractors? Grant's already shaking. He says, no, it's the spark plug family.
Grant and Doug say no, but if anybody wants to come on and go in with Mason, that might work, and they can take care of the motor and all that good stuff, and they can trade on and off or something like that. But I don't think Doug and Grant are down with the whole black smoke deal. I mean, we love black smoke. Don't get me wrong. I grew up with black smoke.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah. I think Neil Gettinger might say, "Whoa!"
Yeah, we all love black smoke. We love super stocks, pro stocks, all that good stuff. But yeah.
No, it's
but
good.
Neil did switch to methanol, so I mean, you could only use so much hand cleaner when you're working on a diesel. Is all I got to say.
Yeah.
Grant, tell us one thing that nobody knows about you that you can say on air without going to jail.
So nobody knows about me. I don't know.
Like a Purdue story or something that maybe mom and dad don't know.
Any good Purdue stories? Any good Purdue stories? Any funny stories about your mom or your dad? Not super
not really.
embarrassing, but enough to make him blush.
He's smarter than that. Grant.
Hey, Grant, is that your TPC trophy above your head?
It
Back
is.
there? Will you grab that? These are sweet trophies. Brent Yarn found this
Sure.
company out of Nevada. They turned out really good. I want you guys to check these out.
They are cool looking. Yeah.
Super proud of him.
Yeah, hold that thing up with pride, man.
Yeah, buddy.
So there's your Modern Machine Mini Rod TPC trophy there. And thank you to Corporals for sponsoring that. We appreciate them doing that a lot. Yeah, Renee, it means a lot to us that you and Doug and the boys came. You're big time pulling names family to be there, and it's good for our event as we're trying to grow this into something pretty special. And I think we're on our way. It felt so good. Saturday night was like the happiest night of my life as a promoter person. Beautiful weather, and I'm not that good of a person at heart. And I said to my team, I said, one of you guys has been going to church more than me, because I said, whoever ordered this weather is perfect. And
It was a perfect weekend.
To see that crowd just grow. And Brad was already talking about buying more bleachers Saturday night, and then to see you pullers put on a fantastic show, it made it all worthwhile, Renee. All worthwhile.
Thank you. Yeah, you had a lot of awesome fans there that really knew their pulling stuff and came up to us and specifically, sought us out. And it was just really, really fun to interact with all the fans there. And I can definitely see this show growing every year by a lot.
Yeah,
I think it's a reflection too of social media, because you work really hard. You guys run a top-notch social media page, and this being an event that is so heavily promoted on social media and the fan vote and gets involved. So I saw a lot of that style of interaction, and that's also proof that style of promoting, or that is the direction we're going, can put fans in the seats. So I think the fact that you're always willing, Renee, to be so transparent with the fans and schedule your posts and stuff. You guys run a great social media page. So it's fun when those fans can come up and be like, oh, I've watched all this. I get to talk to you in person now.
Yeah. Social media just lets you interact and connect with everyone, promoters, fans, pullers, so much easier and faster, and get the word out easier.
Well, that's the one thing, Renee, we talked about from the get-go with this event was we wanted to turn the puller into the promoter. And everybody always says, oh, I only have a couple thousand followers. It doesn't matter. Those a couple thousand followers are more dedicated to you, and they want to know where you're going to go. And Renee, you've been one of the earlier people out front, really letting your fans know where you're going to be. And that's huge for the promoters, because, that Saturday night crowd was awesome, but that was nowhere near where we needed to get in the future to really get some big time paybacks for what these things are actually worth. What was that question? I liked that. Go up. How hard were they tuning it? Renee? Dylan Dirk says, I just want to know how hard they were turning it Saturday night. It sounded like it was on the chip and some.
No, it was good.
Okay.
Sounded
we got more
good.
to play with.
Sounded pretty good to me.
They got more to play with. I like it. Grant, what's a better party, Purdue or Bowling Green Campground?
I have to go with Bowling Green.
I'd have to go Bowling Green, yeah. I'm going to say. We got a couple minutes left with you guys that we're going to bring on Jeremy Nelson, who just decided to switch engines in the middle of Saturday afternoon, which is in its own. Renee, what is one track or one venue that has just got you over the years, and no matter what you do, it just kicks your ass?
Well, so far in the mini rod class, I would have to be Fort Recovery, Ohio.
That's what Tyler Sloss said.
In the minis.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my first one to just really get me. But I don't know. They're all a challenge, and they can either, one year they can be good to you, the next year it's not. I don't know. You just don't need to really get that kind of stuff in your head too much. And every day is a new day, and you just got to put the bad stuff behind you and not really think about it. But if I had to pick, I'd say Fort Recovery right now off the top of my head, just because it was the first time I went out of bounds.
Fair enough.
So
fair enough. No, that's true. Grant, is there a track or a venue that just kind of seems to has your number?
I would say the right side track at Hutchinson, Minnesota has not been good to me.
So you and the left side get along. It's just the right side that you're not friends with.
The right side every time just kicks me.
Yeah, Ference Vague, he goes, ironic you asked that question. They have the Jumpin' Jack Flash Super Stock Diesel Truck, and it is not – the Pullers Championship has not been kind to their pulling team.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Yeah.
And then Grant, I'm going to make sure they do not run minis during the day at Rockwell, Iowa this year either. I promise.
Thank you.
Yes.
I really appreciate that.
Like, I have no power. I'm just going to be announcing full live, but I'm going to make sure that they do not run the minis Saturday. I run their social media, so I guess I can say something. We can start.
Hold him to that, Grant. Hold him to that. If that happens, go over to him and smack him and say, "Oh, you're going to stop this."
Pull under protest. Say, I'm protesting the results of this poll.
No, don't start that, Michael, please. No, don't ever say under No, please.
Not that word. Say,
No.
I pull.
No.
Well, I'll just leave it
on your note sheet before you mark out the word. Yeah, no protest.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
Renee, how is farming going for you and Doug this year?
Very, very slow. It's very wet. We just got short of 5 inches last week. So we had some fields underwater, and it made Doug not feel so guilty about going this weekend to the Pullers Championship. So that was good. We thought it was just going to be Grant and I, but Doug got to go, Mason got to go. But yeah, everything's really slow. Grant's been planting, and we've got 4 planters going when we can be in the fields. So I think Doug said we had 2,700 acres left.
Yeah, we're a little over halfway done.
Yeah.
We should be able to start planting again tomorrow.
Good. Grant, what are you going to school for?
Ag systems management.
Nice. Hey, Renee, can you take us through kind of this? Who works on your engines and your chassis people and your tire people, and who are some people you want to thank?
Modern Machine builds all of our chassis. And
hey, they're your class sponsor. Yeah,
that's right.
I was afraid to ask. I was afraid to ask earlier in case you worked with somebody else.
Yeah, no, we work with Les and talk to Les a lot, and his wife Corey, and Doug and Josh Miles and Roger Williams do all of our engine work in house, and we do a lot of other motor work for other customers, pulling customers, and. Bob Nichols does our tires. Who else do I need to mention?
All the guys that work on the farm while we're gone pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome to see Doug there. I thought for sure it was just going to be the two of you, and I saw him jump out of the toter. And I'm like, woohoo! So it was pretty fun. That was the first year where we parked you all. We kind of wanted to put some mods and some minis in there because that's really like where a lot of the fans walk by. And they don't get to see stuff like that in Southern Illinois, Renee. So that's why we shoved a lot of you in that parking lot.
Yeah, well, that'd be awesome if since we won the champion weekend, I think we should get that same spot again next year.
We have a meeting Thursday night. But you guys are invited back automatically. So
that's what I heard.
Previous winners, there should be how Brent kind of painted the lines this year. Well, you can grid that out, and previous winners get first choice on parking spots going into the next year.
Sounds fair.
Yeah, I think that's like a nice little perk. You win, and you say, "Oh yeah, I want this or I want over there," and you can claim it for a season.
I have a question. So Jason's tractor won with his dad driving it. Does that mean he no longer has to be promoter's choice to get in? I'm sorry,
Larry.
Automatic bid now.
Like I told you, it wasn't about the win. I just saw my new tractor go down the track with my dad driving it Saturday.
Yeah, but I seen you with tears in your eyes give your daddy a hug when he won. My God, I was down at the finish end. I saw the emotion.
I was pretty freaking happy. Well, after Friday night.
By the way, Mason, see that hat? We're all basketball fans. Of course, they're big Purdue fans. But yeah, I was really intrigued last night with Spike Lee wasn't happy.
Yeah, we like that too.
I knew you were watching.
Yeah, it's been a good series to watch.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have Jeremy Nelson yet, so let's keep talking to Renee and Grant. If you have any questions for Renee and Grant, please throw them in the comments. Logan Stevens, are you guys going to make any PPL hooks this year, Renee?
We will probably try to go to Fairfield.
Okay. Is that close to home?
It's probably 3 hours.
No.
What's your farthest NTPA Grand National hook that you guys go to?
Benson.
Yeah, Benson seems to be a common answer, and that's coming up not this weekend, but the weekend after. I've never been out there. I'll be out there with the full poll live on the announcing crew. It looks like I'm assuming it's a pretty sweet venue. I mean, it's big grandstands like the racetrack.
Oh, yeah, it's a very nice facility. A lot of
beautiful.
You park on blacktop. It's really good hospitality.
Cool. It's awesome venue.
We got Jeremy Nelson and waiting in the wings now. So Renee, Grant, thank you for coming to the Pullers Championship. It means a ton to us to get, we're building this event and getting something going, and to have pullers at your level, what's a fancy word I'm looking for, Larry? Your resume
of your prestigious I don't know. All I know is I consider them family, so I'm going like this,
Let me ask them, do you consider Larry Richwine family, Renee?
Ooh.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
He's Uncle Larry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Renee, Grant, thank you. You guys have a safe spring. We'll see you in Benson, okay?
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. The